Okay, good morning. It is just after 8 o'clock in the AM on Tuesday, November 12th, 2019. In the lunar cycle, when cold arrives, our first winter moon. And I'm on my way to Sspopiikimi to do my usual weekday quick round before heading into the studio to work. Bringing along with me today that JVC camera that I bought yesterday. I'm back on my iPhone this morning because I don't like that JVC. That sucker is going back to London Drugs, being returned, getting the money, and we're gonna look at maybe purchasing another camera, although I don't know if I'm gonna purchase from London Drugs, even though they got at least one other camera, maybe two, that I'd like to try. But I don't like the way that sales rep led me into that JVC yesterday. I think it was bullshit. I think they were just trying to pass off the last unit of a crappy model to me, and it pisses me off. So I might just take my money and go elsewhere to get a new camera. We'll see. Depends how lazy I am. But we're gonna go look real quick at the pond right now, see how things are going out here. There's my coyote pack. A few of them. In the distance, I think they have 6 members in total. That's as many as I've counted at one time. They're just on their way back the coyote playground up that way where they live. Geese are all starting to come off of the river. I think they might have all disappeared into the bush already here. Oh yes, I see them. Last one maybe just scooted up into the choke cherries here that lead up to the what I call the coyote playground. Magpie's following. Pretty cool to see them. Prairie wolf still surviving. And here we have probably the reason for the coyotes' retreat. A jogger with a couple of dogs. These guys better look out once the coyotes really start getting desperate in the winter. Bringing dogs out here is not smart. I haven't had the opportunity yet to sit and read and respond to the comments that I've received so far on the videos I uploaded last night. But I have seen, bits and pieces as they've come through on alerts to my phone and such. And I did see that somebody asked me, why not just use a DSLR camera for my vlogging? And I don't know. I mean, it's a good question. I do have a DSLR camera, however, and it's a good one. I have the Canon EOS 50D. I believe it is the unit, but mine was produced maybe a year or two before they started making their housing much lighter and incorporating video into all their units. Mine was still straight photography, but it was around that turn when they did start putting video in everything, from the Rebel up and in the Canon line. And I had some experience working with those video units because my late friend Narcissus, that was his preferred camera for a while, was using his Canon for video. What I observed from it was that, just like a photograph, you really got to set up your focus and all of that, your subject and its range, and for the video you got to stick within that focus range, right? As an action camera, I don't see it working too well. I might be wrong, but but it seems to me not only physically clunky as an action camera because of just its build and such, but also that it's just going to be difficult to use. Difficult for audio, difficult for focus of the video, I don't see it as the solution. Maybe if I was just making a film and I had a DSLR on a tripod, standing still, pointing at subjects, yeah, then it's a pretty good video camera, like professional quality. But for what I do, I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. But my experience with them had been that, you really got to arrange it just like as if you're taking a photograph, as far as your focus and getting your audio set and all that stuff. So I'm going to look at probably a Sony just to play with it and see how their microphone development has changed over the years, because I have an old Sony Handycam, but now they're much smaller, much sleeker, and I've been watching travel vloggers who use the Sony, and it seems to serve the purposes even in a little bit of wind and that kind of thing, and in high action contexts. So I'm gonna give that a try. If that doesn't really serve my needs, then I might have to go back to the GoPro Hero 8 and fold to the demands of the marketeers who are forcing the upgrade. Because one way or the other, I got to get this video audio thing resolved so I can get on with having better quality stuff on my channel, So yeah, anyway, that's why I don't use a DSLR. So we're going toward afternoon now, and I've been in the studio, met with the students. One of my students tells me that her grandfather is in the hospital right now and things are looking bad. He's terminally ill and they're expecting him to pass. So he's apparently asked to visit with me. So I'm probably going to make a stop in there to do that. I did go over to London Drugs to return that camcorder. They didn't ask many questions. I just said it failed for several reasons, and I listed a few, and they took it back, did not even attempt to steer me toward a different camera or anything like that, or make another sale with me. Maybe they already saw the video that I posted last night. But so I'm taking my money and going elsewhere with that. I also need to find a kind of a shop that makes countertops, because the students at the studio are going to be turning to some leather work next week. They're gonna make these kind of ceremonial belts that women wear here with their dresses and such. And the instructor likes to use cutouts, stone cutouts from, you know, when these companies are making things like bathroom sinks and this kind of thing, you get this, what is it called? It's not marble, but so something similar. Anyway, that they make those sinks out of. So he gets that cutout that they normally toss away, and he uses that as part of the base to work the leather on. So he wants me to try to dig some of that up. That's an errand that I have to take care of this week, right? And what else? I don't know, but I'm headed over to Best Buy now. Gonna see what kind of camera they have there, and then I'll probably stop at the hospital on my way back to the studio. Well, to my surprise, Best Buy did not have any good solutions for me. But the only thing that they have vlogging size is the GoPros and a Sony Handycam that has the same LCD door issue as the JVC had. So I got one more place in town that I'll probably look, although I don't know if I'll do it today, and that is McBain's camera. They might have a solution for me. Otherwise, I think I'm gonna probably have to go online and order something off Amazon. That might be my best way to go, I don't know. Any case, I am now at Lethbridge Regional Hospital, where my student's grandpa is up on the 3rd floor. I'm gonna go pay him a visit. All right, back out of the hospital now. And I didn't take any video while I was in there, just because I'm trying to maintain everybody's privacies and all that. I'm not even gonna say who I visited, but visit went good, and I'm hoping he gets out of there soon. He's talking about, he wants to come into our classroom and into the studio and kind of do a little elder advisory for some of the, especially the younger students who might not be taking full advantage of the opportunity that they're being given. So of course I invited him to come do that at his earliest opportunity. So we'll see what happens there. I also gave him the invite, you know, because he's a fan of my channel. So he wanted me to come in, because part of it was just to meet me and talk to me. So I know he watches my videos, and he kind of gave me a little bit of shit over the segment that I did with me and Chelsea at the concert the other week, where we gave each other a little kiss and stuff. He thought that's not really something that culturally we should be putting on video and such. But in any case, I invited him, you know, if he had anything he wants to put on video that he wants people to be able to see, I'm happy to record for him and put it on the channel and all that stuff. And he refused. He said, you know, he's like, no, I don't want to record anything. That's really not, you know, how we do it and stuff. I totally appreciate that. I told him some stories about my experiences, you know, being transferred and learning through that methodology, rather than, you know, keeping some recording and stuff. But At the same time, I told him there's a lot of videos on my channel of people who are now passed, and I know that those videos are cherished by people. So and I think when it comes to like stories and history and that kind of thing, why not record some of it? So I told him there's an open invite anytime he wants to explore that. I'm happy to do that for him, and anything else he needs, let me know. Gave him my phone number, all that jazz. So gonna be heading back toward the studio. Might swing by Bane's camera real quick, see if I can get that out of the way. But yeah, that's that. It's evening time now. The geese are coming in their clans to land at the couple of open water holes here at Henderson Lake. My studio's closed. And I'm still using my iPhone to record. McBain's camera shop did not have any solutions that I thought were workable. Mainly they just didn't have action cameras. They had some good vlogging cameras, some good setups, but they started like at $1,000 range and up, and they weren't built to walk around in a little drizzle like I am right now, you know. And they had LCD screens, which would make it awkward, and anyway, they didn't have what I wanted, so I went back to the studio, did some work through the afternoon, and then toward the end of the day I decided just to go onto Amazon and look up Sony vlogging cameras, and I ended up ordering one. So it's on the way. Should be here. Oh, I love watching these birds come in. Some of them like put on really fancy displays when they come in. Some of the different geese, oftentimes they'll go like inverted, like turn themselves upside down and drop down, have a really fancy, you know, arrival. Yeah, they're just coming, waves of them coming. What was I saying? Oh yeah, I ordered a little Sony vlogging cam that can go underwater, and you know, is small and compact and has the kind of wide fisheye lens that I'm looking for, and seems to have decent sound. But if I don't like the sound, there's an actual microphone jack input. What is it, 3.5 or whatever millimeter? It's a regular microphone jack, so you can hook an external microphone in, you can do a lapel mic, whatever you want, right? So it's going to have the capability of giving me the sound that I want. I believe I'll be able to order extra batteries and stuff for it, so I have high hopes for this camera. I can't remember the unit. It's something like HD RAS300 or something. I don't know. It's the one, if you go on to Amazon.ca and you look up Sony vlogging cam, it's the one that Amazon recommends. So that'll be here Thursday or Friday. We'll get to test it out in the coulees this weekend, and until then I'm gonna lay off on the camera talk. I'm out here at Henderson this evening because of geese. Actually one particular goose, and this is still got a little bit of a nagging cough from that flu or cold for a couple weeks back, but this is a goose out here that has a bad wing injury, has actually exposed bone, and it's been like that for months. I was alerted to this animal earlier in the summer, but even by that time, the people who were alerting me to it were testifying that it had been here for some time already. So I took a look one day. I came out here with a gentleman, took a look at the goose, and you know, I thought to myself, well, right now she's really in the best place she can be, because yeah, I might be able to somehow grab her, even though with the open water that's gonna be tough, you know. But say by chance we're able to grab her, could take her to a to get medical treatment, but likelihood of her flying again after, you know, wings had a bad injury and has been left untreated for, you know, possibly 6-8 weeks already, I don't know, probably very slim. The chances are she's going to need long-term residency somewhere. Somebody's going to have to host. And so, you know, go into a medical treatment facility, she might get her wing fixed up, you know, nice so that there's not bones sticking out and such. But she's not going to be able to stay there forever. Then what? If they even treat her, they might just decide, okay, this is a euthanization case. So I'm very reluctant to grab her up, to bring her for any kind of medical, like to bring her into a wildlife rehab. However, Henderson Lake is closing. You know, the waters are going to freeze all the way over. It's only a matter of us getting a couple of good freezes now, and it's going to happen. It's almost already frozen over now. Once that happens, that goose is going to be very vulnerable. You know, the open water, the water is the goose's protection in the dangerous night, you know, and without that, there's trouble. The goose will be very vulnerable. So one of my thoughts is, once it does, you know, once she is kind of landlocked for a day or whatever, monitoring over here, and once she gets kind of landlocked, grabbing her up for a relocation, bringing her to a place on the river perhaps, where there's going to be open water for a while yet, usually all through the winter, taking her to one of those places where she's going to have maybe a little bit more chance surviving the nights. But on the other hand, here at the park, she has crazy access to food that she wouldn't have along the river. You know, these geese here will come up and, you know, feed off the grass and that kind of stuff here, and they can live on that, you know. But along the river, the pickings are pretty slim. So I don't know what I'm gonna do, but I'm gonna walk out here. I think the area where people, wow, they're just coming in by big numbers. I don't know if you can see them. Those are ducks. Ducks coming in. It's always a really cool thing at dusk here in the winter to go to any crag of open water and watch what happens at dusk. It's an amazing show. I'll definitely video some of it this winter. Right now, there's still so much open water. I'm surprised these guys are coming here to the lake. I suppose because of its urban location, it's a bit safer than being in the coyote-filled coulees. Coyotes definitely visit this place too, though, so I don't know. And bald eagles. So they're not necessarily in too much less danger here, but maybe a little bit less, so they'll keep coming until these ones close off. Then when the river starts closing off, that's when you get the big shows, because it'll just be small crags and thousands of geese showing up right at dusk when it's almost too dark to see them, you know. Anyway, let's go look for this goose. I think usually she's just over here by this bridge. So I'm not seeing her anywhere here on this little green strip island where she's normally hanging out. Very likely she's just waddled out to be among these geese here at this little open water pocket. So I'm probably not going to see her, you know, that I'm going to be able to identify her here this evening. But in any case, I thought I'd come out here and have a look. I'm glad I did. I like seeing all the birds coming in, and just thinking about what I might do and what the situation out here looks like right now. We still got a little bit of time, I think, for this goose out here, but won't be long before things get critical for her if she's not at least relocated. I'm actually surprised an eagle hasn't already picked her off now that they're returning. I should probably give a quick update on the beaver project for the city. I have made some progress there. I reached out to a couple of different organizations that have some professional experience with doing culvert barriers for beavers, and so I'm getting some advice from them. At the same time, I came up with the idea that why not have naturalists just regularly monitor that spot, you know, where the water intake is. Why not, you know, just harness the power of the naturalists who are going to be out in the parks every day anyway, to go by and check in on that place. Maybe I'll have a Facebook page about the project, and, you know, just recruit a bunch of assistants. People, we can either set out a schedule, or people, if it's just happening and enough people are reporting, then we can keep up with it. And if there's any beaver construction going on there, we can nip it in the bud right away, not wait until they've got a whole lodge built and are starting a food cache and a dam and all that stuff, right? So that's a solution that I don't think a lot of people would have thought of, because it involves asking people to volunteer and getting actually people engaged with the wildlife, instead of just kind of having the wildlife over there and the people's over here, you know. So that's where I'm at with that project. The Japanese garden over there, Lethbridge Japanese garden, all lit up. I don't even hazard to guess how many birds there are here. Thousands and thousands. And the skies are still filled, as you see. They just keep coming. Waves and waves. And this isn't the only location in Lethbridge where this is happening right now either. They're going to be doing this in spots on the river too. Here's the island where for several years now Mahoney and I have come to gather our Easter eggs from the geese for beaver ceremonies. Maybe sometime I'll do a tour of the Japanese garden. Yeah, they just keep coming. It's just not stopping. Guess I'll go home now though.